Good evening again, everyone, and welcome to PIC first meeting of 2023-2024. We'll get right into introducing the agenda. So today we'll be covering the acknowledgement of the traditional lands, and will be approval of the agenda, declaration of conflict of interest, approval of minutes, delegations, PIC updates and reports, board updates and reports, communications, committee members' motions for consideration, committee member notice of motion, and adjournment. So welcome. If you have any question for the PIC meeting, you can send it to the PIC email address, parentinvolvement@peelsb.com. So we will turn it over for the land acknowledgement. Mark.
The land upon which we work, live, and sustain ourselves is the ancestral and treaty lands of the Michizagig Anishinaabe, also known today as the Mississaugas of the Credit, the rightful caretakers and title holders of this land. We also recognize the rich pre-contact history and relationships, which include the Anishinaabe and the Ongwe Hongwe.
Since European contact, this land continues to be home to Indigenous and non-Indigenous peoples. As responsible community members, we value the diversity, dignity, and worth of all people.
Colonialism displaced and dispossessed Indigenous peoples of their ancestral land
and continues to deny their basic human rights, dignities, and freedoms.
We are committed to learning true history to reconcile, make reparations, and fulfill our treaty obligations to the original peoples and our collective responsibilities to the lands, water, animals, and each other for future generations.
Thank you. Agenda 3, approval of agenda. We need someone to approve the agenda and someone to second.
Shazia, I approve.
Second.
Kareen, second.
So the agenda was approved first by Shazia and second by Kareen. Agenda item 4, declaration of conflict. Is there any declaration anyone needs to make when it comes to conflict of interest? No response.
Someone's raising hand.
Just a second.
This is Adnan. I just have a question. I'm part of the executive member of the parent school councils. Is it considered conflict of interest?
Catherine, could you answer for us, please?
Thank you, and I will just double check the terms of reference. Well, I think that you're fine. That's not a conflict.
Thank you for letting me know. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Any other conflict of interest need to declare or question, ask? I hear no answer, so we move to agenda item 5.
Stacey, and maybe I'll just say for any of the new members, if any of the new members are employed by the board in any way, you would just need to declare that as a conflict at this meeting. So any of the new members, if you have any sort of employment with the board, please let us know.
So this is Vandana, and I'm a teacher with the Peelschools school board. So hello.
Wanda?
Yes.
Anyone else is employed by the school board?
I think Hera has her hand up.
Yeah, so I am hired as a lunchroom supervisor and currently working as the same position, but sometimes as educational assistant as well. Employed by the board, yep.
Okay. Anyone else? So we'll move to the next. Agenda item 5. Approval of minutes. However, we have none to approve at this time. Agenda item 6. Delegations. There are none at this time. Agenda item 7. This is PIC update for the year 2022 to 2023. I'll call upon the Associate Director Camille Logan to provide the update as it pertains to 2023. I would also like to introduce the board staff support of PIC School Council. So the board staff support Acting Superintendent Pardip Raja, Coordinating Principal Elizabeth England. Board staff support General Counsel Catherine Locker, Superintendent Lisa Hart, Manager of Community Engagement, Super Mikkel.
Okay, thank you, Stacey Ann.
Welcome.
Thanks for giving the introduction. So I'll just give a little bit of an update with regards to some of the events of PIC last year. And I just want to provide you a little bit of an update in terms of the status of PIC. So it's important to note that PIC is an important board level advisory body that operates as a direct link between parents and the board's director and trustees. All school boards in Ontario must have a parent involvement committee. Last year, we had to have some pauses for the meetings due to some disputes that were happening. And so they were paused in January of 2023. And so the committee was engaged in a mediation and subsequently an investigation. After those investigations and mediations, we now have a set of recommendations that will support PIC in terms of going forward this year. And those particular recommendations have to do with a review of the terms of reference and a review of the bylaws, in addition to putting in place a code of conduct. So these recommendations will be put forth to the new committee coming up this year to have an opportunity to review them so that the committee can engage in a number of its activities to ensure that they are all in line with the legislation and the expectations as they are also aligned with the school board. So I'll turn it back over to you, Stacey Ann.
Thank you, Dr. Camille. Agenda number 7.1, which is the PIC contact information. It can be found on the PIC website. And however, tonight's meeting, you can submit your question via the email during the meeting time, and we'll try our best to have answers for you. Agenda 7.2, recognition of members. This year, the PIC nominations were delayed in relation to the process to resolve the disputes that Dr. Camille had just referred to. The PIC application process began September 14 and closed October 2. A subcommittee of the remaining PIC members for 2023-2024 were invited to comprise the subcommittee. So the outgoing members for PIC, and I want to say thank you to these outgoing members for their hard work over the past year. And they are Ramona Siddiqui, past co-chair, Talika Walsh, Tina Wally, Alexa Barkley, Nicole Anderson, Halal Abdi. Hope I'm not butchering your name. And the returning members from last year, Sajia Hassan, Stacey Ann Brooks, and Sweetie Sharma. And welcome to the new members. Incoming are Hira Husman, Karen Wan Darby, Ben Chen, Alison Min Feckleton, Vandana Manhar, Alison Lockett, Tangda Shai, Adna Ghani, and Siri Talat. Welcome, new members. Agenda 7.2, recognition of members. Oh, sorry. I think I have double notes, sorry. Recognition of the community members. Representing the Alliance, they represent the Black communities, are Paula Hilton, Advocacy Peel, and Valerie Williams, We Rise. Given that we have MIAC, Multicultural Interagency Group of Peel, and SIAC. These are Special Advisory Committee representative terms have expired. They were the last year community representative and their rep term has expired. So we have no doubt send out email to the board director and to the representative that their time has expired. And the terms of reference and bylaw committee membership state that MIAC and SIAC have representative and PIC. These representatives are expected to have 2 years term. So they're allowed another new representative for another 2-year terms. The past representative of MIAC and SIAC have been on PIC for over 10 years and have exceeded their 2-year term. Given that there needs to be a review of all our documents, this review will take place, and then based on the revised terms of references and bylaws, community members will be identified and MIAC and SIAC will be informed accordingly. And upon revisions of our bylaws, these organizations will be notified of the next steps. Agenda item 7.3. This is about the executive positions. So we have 4 positions for the PIC, 2-year terms. We have a chair, co-chair, secretary, and treasurer. So for the upcoming formal PIC executive elections, the co-chair role is for 2 years. I am now sitting in one of the role as the chair, and I'm in my 2nd year. Co-chair is for 2 parent members. The 2nd co-chair role is vacant. The secretary and the treasurer are selected from the parent members and are for 1-year terms. So the roles are as follows. Secretary, you're responsible for minute meetings and actions items for follow-up. And the treasurer, keep record of the PIC financials in collaboration with the board. Our next elections to pick the co-chair, the secretary, and the treasurer will be held on November 15th. Please send an email to indicate what position you are interested in and a short bio. Agenda item 7.4, subcommittees. There will be a focus on having 3 subcommittees this year. One is a bylaw review committee. This committee will review the following documents: terms of reference, PIC bylaw committee membership, PIC bylaw filing committee vacancies, PIC bylaw conflicts of interest, PIC bylaw resolving disputes, PIC code of conduct, PIC bylaw committee executive. The second one is the strategic planning. This committee helps to plan PIC events and activities. Committee 3. This committee is not usually activated until the spring when we put together the call out to new members. However, the bylaw states that the selection committee is comprised of up to 4 parent members, a co-chair, and a trustee. We will use this composition as a guide for subcommittees. Please indicate your interest to me, Stacey Ann Brooks, no later than November 1, 2023. Agenda 7.5. Report on PIC events from the 2022 to 2023 year. These are some of the workshops that we had. Great Start School Council 101, this happens in November. The Parent Reaching Out Grant, we had a virtual parent session in February. The virtual parent engagement sessions were done in April and May. And these are some of the sessions that were conducted: the de-streaming, special education, consent culture, and gender-based violence, student disciplinary procedures, right to read literacy. Supporting Muslims students were done in April, May, and June. We also had the Two-Spirit LGBTQIA+ inclusion, and this was held May and June. Agenda item 7.5. Report on PIC budget from 2022 to 2023. So we had the programmed activity. So the schools, the budget for that year, for last year, was $128,149.24. And we did a core funding of $31,069.76. So we have a balance of $51,022.05 for the school council component, and a balance on the PIC core funding of $28,805.74. For the pro grant budget, it was $123,500. 145 schools receive $500 each for a total of $72,500. Total spent was $48,084. So we have a balance of $74,692 The expenditure core funding was used for events, refreshments, etc., and staples, printing, and Canva. So program activity, I would ask Miss Elizabeth England to, if she would like to expand more on it. Thank you. So Elizabeth, you can take over.
Certainly. Thank you very much, Stacey Ann.
No worries.
There were a number of schools who took advantage of our different programs presentations, and those presentations were done in a variety of different formats. So for example, Whaley's Corner Public School held a financial literacy workshop and cooking classes for parents and caregivers. Parkholme Secondary School used their resources to support their understanding of alternative curriculum and a community information fair. Erin Center Middle School ran a workshop on supporting the mental health of adolescents, and Greenbrier Senior Public School gave a right to repair clinic for parents and caregivers. So schools can opt to have a variety of different workshops, speakers, and all need to comply with the ministry criteria regarding the parent reaching out funding. So we're hoping to get this funding out even sooner this year to give schools a good amount of time in order to implement the funding. There were quite a few schools due to a variety of different reasons that administrators called me about who did not use their funding last year, applied for it, but did not have the opportunity to use their funding. So we're really hoping that with our wonderful new members, and I see some of you nodding there, so that's fantastic, that we'll have your cooperation and your support in helping get the Parent Reaching Out grant up and running. And I've also put a call into the ministry to seek further clarification about the application process for our Parent Reaching Out grants in the hopes that we will have a more streamlined process this year. And that's all for me. Thank you so much. I look forward to working with our returning members and our new members this year.
Thank you. Agenda 7.7, Strategic Plan, Events and Activities for 2023 to 2024. Outstanding project, there is none. September is gone. School council elections within 30 days of the first day of school. So we have the Islamic Heritage Month and anti-Islamic training. The first session is still outstanding by NCCM. Dismantling Islamophobia and affirming Muslim student strategy to all school council. So these are some of the events that we have already had plans for the 2023-2024 school year. And I hope to have everyone on board to get this going. Agenda item 7.6. This is budget 2023 to 2024 for the PIC budget allocation. So the component is as follows. The PIC component is $500 plus 0.17, that's 17 cents per ADE. And the school council component is $500 per school. The program component is $1,500 plus $500 per school. So this is the allocation for the year for each section under the PIC component, the school council component, and the program. So agenda item 7.7. This is strategic planning, events and activities. Oh, sorry, that's the one I just said. Agenda item 8, board and trustee updates. Ramesh Swarup is the Director of Education. Dr. Camille Logan, Associate Director of School Improvement and Equity, Curriculum and Instruction, Student and Community Engagement. Lisa Hart, Superintendent of Equity, Indigenous Education, Community Relationships. Trustee Benjamin, Mississauga, Ward 5. Agenda 9, it's communications. Don't think we have anything at this meeting for communications. We just want to mention that they're there.
Can I just interrupt for 1 second?
Sure.
Because we're on agenda item 8, correct?
No, we're at 9. You want to go back to 8?
Yes, so for
Okay,
8.
that's fine.
Yeah, so for 8, what it is that here we're supposed to give our updates from the board. And so I have a bit of an update, and I do that on behalf of the director. And Lisa is going to provide a little bit of an update of some of the work that's been happening in the equity office. And we'll call upon both Trustee Benjamin and Trustee Johal to include any updates that they would like to share with the committee. Is that okay?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. Just going to switch screens here so that I can provide the update. So we have had a fantastic start to the school year in terms of the various activities, and we hope for all of the parents who are on the screen and watching that your children have had a good start to the school year. One of the things that we did a little bit different than we've done in the past years is we've created an entire set of lessons and activities and supports to ensure that all of the students have a really good start. And so there was a toolkits that were created with lessons and activities. And those lessons and activities really also help to create I think a sense of cohesion and togetherness. And so all of the schools were expected to do very similar activities. And really it was set on building community in the classroom, helping to build relationships, in addition to really helping our children have a good sense of what are some of the expectations as well for student safety. So that has been a very clear focus for September. And so I do hope that many of your children came home and shared some of those activities that really hopefully help them to have a good sense of, togetherness and building relationships and community in the classroom. And in addition to that, that was also supported by a number of our equity department teams who also supported lessons and activities, because we really want to ensure that we have culturally responsive lessons and learning, and so that students see themselves reflected in the classroom and that their lived experience is honored and that they feel that they are an important part of what happens in the Peel District School Board. So those were some of the activities that really helped to set us off on a good start for this September. And I also wanted to share that there are some changes that are specific to the curriculum, again, that our families from grades 1 to 9 might have noticed around the language curriculum. The language curriculum is new and has just come out this September. So you'll be hearing some changes about the curriculum, and you'll see some changes that will be coming for the term 1 report card. For language now, there is only 1 language mark. So that has been a change from the other strands. And so you'll see those changes, and you'll also hear about some of those changes. And to support that, we have now what are called literacy coaches. So there are literacy coaches in a series of specific schools that are designed to support literacy instruction with particular schools that are of that might need some additional support. And so we're really excited to have these coaches that will be working specifically with teachers and students. We also have math facilitators. And as a result of the Ministry of Education assigning a very strong focus on numeracy, we have math facilitators along with 2 superintendents that are also supporting what's happening in math in the Peel District School Board. So you'll see some interesting things that should be coming from your schools around math. We also have what are called de-streaming coaches. And so these de-streaming coaches, again, were a new role, and again, designed to support the de-streaming efforts that we have in our secondary schools, but they're designed to prepare our students so that they have multiple pathways. So we're really excited about all of the different supports that are being put in place to support students in the upcoming year. And of course, there are many different opportunities of a professional learning for teachers to ensure that we've got these particular programs happening effectively to support students. We also are excited to be able to talk about the release of an action plan that again is for staff, that is specific to literacy and numeracy, and that is also going to help us to have really strong foundational skills for our students. We encourage all of our families to ask about the School Improvement and Equity Plan. All schools are in the process right now of what we call SEEP, which is our School Improvement and Equity Plan. We love acronyms. And with this plan, the expectation is for all schools to have goals. Right now, they have just finished off a sense of belonging goal. And the next goal that will be the focus will be a literacy and numeracy goal. So we encourage you, when you are speaking with your schools and your school councils, to ask about, how these different programming supports and efforts are happening in your schools, because they are designed to support student achievement and well-being. And as a board, we always ensure that we have a culturally responsive approach to all of our instruction so that our students see themselves reflected and that they feel that who they are is honored when they walk through the doors of the Peel District School Board. So I'm now going to turn it over to Superintendent Lisa Hart, who is going to provide us for some updates from the Equity Department. We have some really exciting things that have happened in the past month and some things that are about to happen with regards to some of the work that we're doing in the community. So I'll turn it over to Lisa.
Hi, good evening. Lisa Hart, Superintendent of Equity, Indigenous Education, School Engagement, and Community Relations. So I'm going to kind of give updates around the different areas. So recently, last week, we would have hosted our Muslim Youth Leadership Conference on October 18th and 19th for middle school and secondary students. Over 250 students participating each day, with phenomenal guest speakers. So really an opportunity to really create that strong sense of belonging. And we heard amazing positive feedback from the students about their experience that day. The community launch of the Affirming Muslim Students Identity and Dismantling Islamophobia strategy will take place at CBO on the evening of November 7th. Invitations have gone out, and if you can't join in person, there will be a live stream opportunity. In addition, sorry, my dog is just barking right now, of course, when I have to talk. Just 1 second. So November, we have a variety of different events. It is Hindu Heritage Month, and we do have a South Asian rapper who joined us last year, and it'll be a live stream opportunity for students. And so just ways that we're working towards creating those identity affirming spaces for all the students that we serve. In the Indigenous Education Department, approximately a year ago, we would have opened a site that's called the Center for Indigenous Excellence in Land-Based Learning, Majading Wingushking, and it's offering opportunities for students, staff, and families to learn from community members. Most recently, Indigenous high school students were participating in a canoe build in which they'll receive a high school credit. And the team now has 4 Indigenous student advisors who are visiting schools with self-identified Indigenous students, as well as a new community engagement specialist. In the month of September, we also would have hosted Teepees and Telescopes, which was a partnership with the Dufferin Catholic Board, and would have hosted several families and students and Indigenous elders and groups across North America. The African Black and Afro-Caribbean Student Success Team, all high schools now have access to a graduation coach to support the success of students who identify as African Black, Afro-Caribbean, as well as we're in the process of supporting schools with establishing school level BPA, so Black Parent Advisories, as well as a central board level BPA. And in terms of the community engagement side of our department, most recently, the team joined the Indigenous Education team and attended an event at Kothra. And similarly, the team will be planning 4 community engagement events throughout the rest of the year, with a real opportunity to invite parents in and really hear what are the things that they're wanting to learn more about, and really leveraging parent and community voice. And so just kind of some of the offerings that our department is providing, and really looking at ways to build that homeschool partnership, because recognizing that the work that we collectively do to support students and your children will really make a difference for their achievement and their well-being.
Okay, thank you, Lisa. And before we move on to our trustees, I would be remiss not to identify that we know that our director has sent out communication about the current situation and circumstance in terms of the war that is taking place in the Middle East. And we know that many of our students, staff, and families have been impacted. And so I did want to just take an opportunity to acknowledge that. We know that there are many families who have expressed worry and concern about what's happening in our schools. And I just want to reiterate that we are very conscious of these efforts. We've provided many resources and supports to our educators to support any dialogue in the classroom and to support any activities. And we've really tried to work hard in terms of ensuring that what's being provided is trauma informed, so that the staff have the necessary supports to be able to support all of our children. And we've also created opportunities for dialogue and healing circles because we understand the mental health and well-being of our staff and students is of paramount importance, in addition to safety. So I did not want to, leave our portion in terms of a board update without acknowledging that. And we are, all grieving the loss of the many lives that have been, negatively impacted by what's happening. But please know that we are taking all of the concerns that have come to us, because we are hearing from many community members, of course, predominantly our community members who are from the Jewish, Palestinian, and Muslim communities, who have expressed, concern and really want to make sure that we are looking after their children. And please know that we are, because we do not stand for in any forms of hate in our schools, and we have many different protocols to respond to that as well. Okay, thank you. So I will now turn it over to our trustees. So I'm not sure who would like to go first.
I'll go first.
Okay, thank you, Trustee Benjamin.
Yeah, so hi, everybody. I'm Trustee Susan Benjamin from Mississauga, Ward 5, which includes Malton, too. I'm very, very happy to be part of this committee. I was also part of the committee in my first term. I'm being re-elected a second term, and I'm looking forward to working with all of you. So from the past, I know Stacey Ann, I know Shazia, I know Sweetie, but the rest of the new committee, I hope to meet you in person and get to know you. But welcome to the committee. As AD Logan said, I visited, in this past 2 months, about 14 schools, and everywhere I went, I was really very happy to speak with the principals who all were so positive, and they said they had a very good opening. And hopefully we are going to have this for the rest of the year. I know Shazia did mention COVID, but you know what, I think it's something in the past. We may have a few issues here and there, health issues, but I think we are all well prepared for that. As a trustee representative, I represent all the trustees on the board, and I hope you know that we have 12 trustees, 6 from Mississauga, 5 from Brampton, and 1 from Caledon. And if you need any information about the trustees, it's all available on the board website. But you're also welcome to send an email or call us, because our information is there, and you can talk to your own trustees from your own wards and from the schools. I also would like to say that I attended many of the conferences which were held by PIC in the last term, and I was really happy because these were great events, and the PIC committees put in a lot of effort to organize these events. And as Trustee Logan also mentioned, as AD Logan mentioned, so many activities are organized at school councils. So I hope that these school councils also would continue to have, various kinds of sessions that would benefit our parents. One of the things that I noticed new this time was the reports from the school councils. We never received this in the past, but it was good to receive these reports because they gave us a brief overview of what each school had done. And, I was blown away by the number of activities that were being held in the school councils by the parents, and this benefited the school communities. So I would encourage all my committee members to work together. We have made a good start, and hope that if you need any help, we as the trustees are available, and let's all work together to make it a wonderful year for all of us. Thank you.
If I may, Trustee Johal. So thank you very much. I am very, very happy to be part of this committee, and welcome you everybody again. And as Trustee Benjamin has very well said, I just have one update which I can share with you here. And that is, as you can see trustees information from the board website, but we have done a little update, I would say a change, which is for the help for the community, for the parents, so that they have easier access to the trustees contact information. And that is that on every particular school website, on the bottom left side, they also carry now trustee's name. And if you click on the trustee's name, that will lead you to the board website where all trustees contact information is listed. And I want to share this was made possible because we received feedback from just one resident. I can tell you that how much difference just one person's feedback can make. So they came with this suggestion that trustees information should be available on each school's website. And I thought that idea was excellent, and I advocated for that with the communications. And at the end, director approved that. And I also thank you, our tremendous director, and their great job. And they have now done this, and I think it is much easier for the parents to get in touch with their trustees. So I just want to encourage you, everyone, that the parents community, they should continue to communicate with their trustees, with the school board, with the communication with their schools. So each person's feedback can make a big difference. I just want to encourage you. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Johal. We'll move that. Camille? No? Are we frozen?
Yeah, I'm back on.
So now I think that was the last item for the board updates, I believe. So I think you can move back to the agenda. So if we're able to see the agenda back on the screen, that would be appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you. So we're at agenda number 9, communications. We have nothing specific for this one, right, Camille? Agenda item 10, committee member motions. At this time, there is no motion, so we'll move on. Agenda item 11, committee member notices of motion. There is none. So we'll move on, and we're at our final. Does anyone have any question before we adjourn?
Sorry, this is Toby speaking. I have just quick questions I want to ask.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I just wondering, like you mentioned the committee members' motions. How do you apply that? I mean, if the member want to get an idea, because this is the first time, so just want to get what's the procedure?
Camille or Catherine, you want to take that one?
Catherine, can you jump in on that one, Catherine?
Absolutely. If a member would like to make a motion, then they provide notice of the motion about a week before the meeting. And then on that meeting, it would be a notice to the fellow members that you would like to raise a motion at the subsequent meeting. So it's notice at meeting 1 and you discuss at meeting 2. Just in general terms, a motion is a proposal, and the proposal can be a variety of things, such as you'd like a report back on some information. You would like or you have a proposal that the PIC committee may agree to host a seminar or something like that. So a motion is a proposal that's put before the committee. And like we say, there needs to be notice of that motion at the previous meeting so that members have an opportunity to think about it and be ready for a discussion at the subsequent meeting. If any of you would like any assistance in drafting a notice of motion, you can always reach out to me at any time and I can help draft those motions.
Okay, thank you for the explanation. Would you mind to share your contact information in the chat?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Stacey, I think Adnan has the next question.
Thank you. I just have a general question. We discussed the elections, committees, and executive members. Being a new member, I just would like to know, how do I navigate? How do I brainstorm that information? If somebody can give me an idea on that.
Catherine.
Thank you. Thank you for the question, and through you, Madam Chair. The existing terms of reference and bylaws are available online, and I do believe that they've been provided to you. One of the first tasks, I think, of this committee will be creating the committee to review those documents. As was suggested, there's going to be the 3 committees, and if you have an interest in digesting more about the terms of reference and there is a committee that's going to be formed, and you can send your notice of interest to the chair to be considered to be added to the subcommittee regarding that. If you have any general questions about governance, you can reach out to me at any time, and I'm happy to talk through governance. As you get to know me, you'll know that governance is a bit of a passion, so feel free to reach out at any time to discuss any kind of governance issues.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Any more questions?
I think Allison is next. Allison Ming.
Hi.
And then Alex.
Hi, good evening again. I think Adnan just mentioned a portion of what I wanted to ask, but I am more interested in the subcommittees. Are we as new members supposed to apply to join these committees? I'm not sure how we go about this aspect of it, based on the information that is provided, or?
Thank you. Yes, thank you for that question through you, Madam Chair. If you could send an email with an expression of interest to sit on one of the 3 committees or more of the committees to the chair, then we'll take a look at how many people are interested in each of the committees, and the chair will get back to us at the November meeting.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Chen? Karen? Can
Oh,
go
I think,
ahead.
sorry, Ben and then Karine.
Okay.
Okay, my question is, so I'd like to ask returning members, how many schools that don't have a school council this year? Do we have a number?
All school is supposed to have a school council.
But when I was reviewing the meeting minutes from 2019 and 2020, I am aware that some schools don't have a school council. And I believe there was some action to be done to find out the exact number, but I didn't see any data after that.
I don't believe that PIC has that information right now. And it's just because every year is dynamic as well. I think there was a point where PIC was trying to find out, which school councils didn't have an active council so that we could do some outreach to them. But I think it's something that's changed year over year. And if we were to go out to schools this year and find out, I'm sure that we would find something different as well. But I think that's something that as a committee, now that we're newly formed, we can look to explore and maybe think about ways that we can, reach out either through our family of schools or through our trustees that we're affiliated with and try to get a better sense of that and, talk about possibilities of how we can engage those schools.
Can I just add something? Alex, as trustees, we encourage every school to have a school council, but there are certain, I would say, kind of some principals find that parents don't approach them because the information about forming school councils are provided to all schools at the beginning of the school year. And there is a, process to be followed. But sometimes principals say we don't get any response. So I know, and as Shazia pointed out, one of the things that we could do is promote the school councils, maybe find out what is the problems in these areas. And as trustees, we too, will try our best to see that we can have as many school councils as possible.
Based on what I understand about the relationship between PIC and the school councils, is it our responsibility to promote, school that don't have any school councils and help them to, get the thing done and try to form a school council, maybe with the help of the school principal?
It's PIC's mandate to support school councils, but we are direct contacts for school councils. So unfortunately, usually if a school council doesn't have, if a school doesn't have an active school council that reaches out to us, we often don't know, which is why, kind of over the years, there's been this figuring out of ways of trying what the best kind of proactive approach is. But again, just recognizing that each year is dynamic, principals are dynamic, and whatnot. But if there are parents at certain schools that would like to establish a school council and need some guidance in helping doing that and getting their their school admin on board, that's certainly something that PIC can help with and can help encourage.
Perfect. Okay. I have one last question. So, is it possible that for the parent member to have a PDSB account, email account?
The PIC members?
Yes.
Yeah, you will be getting a email account shortly if you haven't gotten one yet. So,
Okay, perfect.
so
Thank
every
you.
member will get a PIC account.
And there will be an orientation session for all of the PIC members. So obviously specifically for the new folks, but of course, current folks are welcome to participate. We're in the planning process, so you will be notified of when that orientation session is. And so some of these questions definitely will be there to support you as well.
Stacey, and I think Karine might have the last question.
Go ahead,
and
Karine.
Okay, thank you. So I was just wondering if there's any document that kind of outline the purpose of these different subcommittees. You did mention it, but perhaps if something could be sent out or where we could get that information so we know exactly which one, if any, we want to apply for.
You want to go ahead, Ms. Camille?
Sure. So yes, so definitely we can just give a little blurb that will hopefully help to explain what each committee is. So that way, if you're interested, you can express interest to the chair of the committee, Stacey Ann.
Allison, you're finished, Karen? Sorry.
No, I'm all good. Thank you. Thank you. I look
You're
forward to
welcome.
that. Thanks.
You can go ahead, Allison.
Thanks again. I think I missed a deadline for the application for the committees. Can you just repeat that deadline for me, please? I think I missed it earlier.
It was November 1.
Oh, the 1st of November. All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Any other questions, concerns?
And I think you just mentioned about the November 15th for some deadline. What is that for?
Orientation.
Oh, okay. I see. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, if I may, it's the elections of the executive.
Yes, the election.
And
Sorry,
so-
the election.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, so that's okay. So it'll be for those positions that we mentioned earlier. So in terms of the co-chair position, the secretary, and the treasurer. Okay.
Do you have another question, Allison?
No, sorry. I'll
Next, Hira.
Yes, thank you. I just want to raise question about the PRO grants. Like if a school got a PRO grant, like a school council get the PRO grant last year and they didn't spend the money and they give back to the board. So is it possible they apply for the current year and they will get the same amount of money for the PRO grant this year? But I don't know the procedure. How will it work? Like,
Turn it over to Elizabeth. I see her nodding.
Yes.
Hi, I can help answer that. I know last year was a difficult year for a lot of schools for many different reasons, and that there were some schools who were not able to spend their $500. We want to give every school that $500 per program, and we'd like to have them spend it. So we will be developing the process, PIC, and with my support to do that together. And yes, please do apply for your pro grant. And we will work with your school to help that happen through developing a process this within the next month or two. But please apply again. And yes, we would like all schools to apply.
thank you. Thank you so much.
Any other questions, concerns? I see no hand. We have time.
I see here his hand up again, so I don't know if that's a legacy hand or another question.
Oh, it's gone. It's a legacy
Okay,
hand.
all right.
Anyone else? No question? No question, Trustee Benjamin? I'm just
No,
picking
thank
on
you.
All right. So I guess, Camille, we're gonna have an early break, early lunch.
Yes, most definitely. So I think Chair, you can adjourn the meeting if there aren't any other questions.
So I'll move to adjourn the meeting, agenda number 12. I want to thank you all for coming out this evening, and we will meet next November 15, 2023, where the executive positions will be selected. So you all have a wonderful evening, and I see you on the 15th.